Honestly, what brought the want to the front of my brain was watching the way that our food systems very rapidly broke down at the onset of the COVID pandemic. Watching how anxious a lot of people suddenly became, and watching so many people learn in real time how we cannot take a lot of these very fragile systems for granted, hurt my heart as a person who is focused on a lot of these systems for a large portion of my life. It was kind of supposed to stay a thing that like scientists and people who are in charge of getting food to people to focus on so everyone else doesn't have to think about it. And I remember coming across this video after video, scrolling on TikTok because we had nothing else to do, seeing people just freaking out about the idea of even going into the grocery store. And so the first long form foraging video that I made, after just like running a blog for myself to keep track of my recipes for years before that, was, hey, here are like 5 extraordinarily common weeds that you can find across most of North America. So maybe if you were freaking out about, say, trying to get a box of spinach, that was probably gonna rot in the back of your fridge anyway, let's be real. Instead, why don't you just go for a walk around your neighborhood, get some steps in so you maybe feel a little less anxious, get some sunlight, get some fresh air, and take a closer look at the space in which you're living, regardless of whether it's urban, suburban, or rural. And maybe make some connections with some organisms, some plants, or maybe even some animals that you see that you wouldn't have had a connection with before. If there's one thing that is actually, like accidentally in my case, because I just think it's fun, good for the planet, it is having 0 carbon footprint, unless you count your own footprints, walking to go get it for your food. And so suddenly, all at once, a lot of people started flooding into my pages, both people coming at it from just wanting a food experience that they got to take part in more, because we are so disconnected from our food systems. I replied to a video last year of a young woman living here in LA who didn't know if the lemons growing on the tree in front of her house were dangerous because they were growing on the tree in front of her house and not in a grove with other lemons. And a lot of people, like myself included, at the jump laugh and are like, oh my God, how can people be so clueless? But then I really took a second to sit with it and realized it was a really earnest question. She wasn't asking it for the ha-has.
Yeah.
This is someone who has never had to contemplate where the lemons at the grocery store are coming from before. And when you get to play such a big role in the food that you and your loved ones are consuming, you make smarter choices about what it is you're eating, you lessen the carbon footprint of what it is you're putting on your plate, and in getting to discover a source of abundance in your own backyard, another great added effect is people tend to take better care of the spaces that they are living in. Everyone always thinks that I live in a toadstool cottage in the middle of the forest. But I live in downtown Columbus, Ohio. I can see the center of downtown from my front porch. And a lot of my neighbors, kids who live on my street, will come and ask me why did you choose to live here when you could be somewhere else where nature is the way the question usually gets phrased. And a lot of times I'll say, hey, let's go for a walk this evening, and I will show you that nature is right here in the center of the city. People think of us as so divorced from nature. There's human world and there's nature world. When I think if you help people realize that all of it is one and the same, they start treating it all as one and the same. And food just ends up being a really great way to do that, because we, not to quote rallies, but you gotta eat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so fantastic. And I think that for me, one of the things